An investigation conducted by Wits University has revealed that the Jagersfontein dam collapse was caused by a deviation from best engineering practices last year. The diamond mine storage facility collapsed, killing one person, and it's destroyed multiple homes. Now, for more on the university's satellite and aerial probe, Dr. Luiz Cruz-Torres is a senior lecturer from the Wits School of Civil and Environmental Engineering and joins us now to unpack the work that they have done. Thank you so much for making time for us. What do the satellite images show about what went wrong at Jagersfontein mine?
Clement, good afternoon, and thank you very much for having me. Indeed, this was an investigation conducted at Wits University between my master's student and I. And as you have already mentioned, it was based entirely on satellite images. As such, I should perhaps begin by clarifying that this is what in geotechnical engineering we refer to as a desk study. Okay, so it is information. It is a study that is conducted using information that you can access without leaving your desk. You know, that's the gist behind that name. So it implies that the investigation is conducted without accessing stability reports or accessing, well, in our case at least, or accessing the site or conducting tests at the site. So we are relying on these satellite images. As such, the investigation is not sufficient to conclusively determine what exactly was the cause for the failure. So the satellite images do show deviations from best available practice, but that is different from establishing the exact cause of the failure. Now, most of the coming to your question, most of the observations that we make have to do with essentially the amount of water in the dam and where that water was positioned. And I'm allowed to clarify here, for some people it might seem too strange to hear that, well, if it's a dam, it is supposed to be retaining water, but we must keep in mind that this is a tailings dam, right? And it is meant to store more than anything the tailings, in other words, the mine waste that results from the concentration process during mining or during waste processing, as in this case. So the dam does receive water because the tailings arrive in the dam as a slurry. But one of the main functions of the tailings dam is to then drain that water, to allow that water out while retaining the tailings in as dry a condition as possible.
So, based on the analyzed images then, the study hypothesizes that the percolation of water through the dam, followed by the external erosion, ultimately triggered that instability. Correct.
Yes. That is, and thank you for using that word. We hypothesize. We without access to the site, of course, we have no way of confirming whether that hypothesis is correct or not. But the images that we present in the investigation do suggest that was the ultimate failure mechanism.
So this study found that the history of the Jagersfontein dam deviates from some of the best engineering practices. From what you've been able to see from these images, what were some of the deviations?
Right. So those are the deviations that I say deal mostly with water. Yeah. So that would be, for example, the amount of water accumulated atop the dam being more extensive than one would find desirable, and also the position of that let me call it that pond of water, you want that pond of water to be as small as possible, but also sort of like in the center of the dam, away from any perimeter wall, so as to reduce if I can say it loosely, so as to reduce the pressure that water might be exerting against a perimeter wall.
Yeah.
So those are the deviations that we're observing. Also some instances of erosion in the perimeter wall.
Yeah. I'm just fascinated by how you were sourcing these images. What are some of the sources of the public satellite images that you've used?
That is a critical question, and I'm glad you asked. One of the main features of our investigation is that in order to investigate the history of the dam, that is the pre-failure history of the dam, we relied entirely on public images, right? So these are images, for example, that you can access via Google Earth. And when I say you, I literally mean you or any one of your viewers and listeners can access via Google Earth. Also images from the Earth observation programs from the European Space Agency, such as those captured by the satellite Sentinel-2, and by the NASA Earth observation program, those captured by, in our case, we used Landsat 8. So these are images that are in the public domain, which also means that anyone can access those images and verify the observations that we make in our paper.
And as you've indicated, the fact that your study relies on publicly available data to investigate the history of this dam basically implies that anyone can independently verify your observations.
That is correct. Mm-hmm. That is correct. And of course, we make every effort to analyze the images as objectively as possible, but one can never rule out that someone will analyze the image and arrive at different conclusions.
Mm-hmm. I imagine that this paper, Doctor, will be useful to those interested in understanding how this tragic event came about, but I also imagine help, prevent future failures. So what lessons can be taken from that particular disaster, from what you've been able to analyze, so that we are future-proof in terms of similar disasters ever happening again?
So firstly, I agree that one of the main intentions of the paper is to increase, I'm not going to say create because the awareness exists, but increase the awareness of the capabilities of these publicly available satellite images so that mining houses can use them to verify whether construction of a tailings dam is proceeding according to plan. And we hope that this will be a really good outcome of that paper that will contribute to the safety of these structures. Mm. Now, regarding what can you do to guarantee that failures will no longer occur, that is a very tricky question with a wide variety of opinions out there. And I would say that a strong monitoring on the construction sequence of the dam is one of the most cost-effective approaches that we can implement to improve dam safety. In other words, try to ensure that the dam is being built properly before there is any type of concern around the stability of the dam.
I see. So a robust monitoring strategy of these tailings dams can also help, where there's a greater focus on, not just the operation, but the construction as well. Doctor, thank you so much. This has really been fascinating, learning more about how you guys have gone about, looking at the satellite images and the information that you've gotten.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to be on your show.